Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we continue with chapter 5. Demigods appeal to the Lord for protection.
I don't know whether we told Mataji that we are starting class.
I'm sure they heard the
Okay, we told them. Okay.
I'm sure they heard the chanting.
Okay.
Sri Sukha Vacha
Sri Sukha Vacha
Rajan Uditam Etatte
Rajan Uditam Etatte
Hare Karma Ganashanam
Hare Karma Ganashanam
Gajendra Mokshanam Punyam
Gajendra Mokshanam Punyam
Raivatam Tu Antaram Shrinu.
Raivatam Antaram Shrinu.
So Sukadeva Goswami, after speaking about the Gajendra Moksha, is continuing with the lineage. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, O king, I have described to you the pastime of Gajendra Mokshana, which is most pious to hear. By hearing of such activities of the Lord, one can be freed from all sinful reactions. Now please listen as I describe Raivata Manu. Raivata Manu is a brother of Tamasa. Okay. Text 2. Panchamo Raivato Nama
Panchamo Raivato Nama
Manustamasa Sodaraha
Manustamasa Sodaraha
Bali Vindyadayastasya
Bali Vindyadayastasya
Sutta Arjuna Purvakaha
Sutta Arjuna Purvakaha.
Brother of Tamasa, Manu, was a fifth Manu named Raivata. His sons were headed by Arjuna, Bali and Vindhya. Text 3. Vibhurindra Suragana
Vidurindra Suragana
Rajan Bhutarayadaya
Rajan Bhutarayadaya
Hiranya Roma Vedashirya
Hiranya Roma Vedashira
Urdhva Bhava Adayodhija.
Urdhva Bhava Adayodhija.
O king, in the millennium of Raivata Manu, the king of heaven was known as Vibhu. Among the demigods were the Bhutarayas, and among the 7 Brahmanas who occupied the 7 planets were Hiranya Roma, Veda Shira, and Urdhva Bahu. Text 4. Patni Vikunta Subrasya
Patni Vikunta Subrasya
Vaikuntai Surasatamai
Vaikuntai Surasattamai
Tayo Swakalaya Jajne
Tayo Swakalaya Jajne
Vaikunto Bhagavan Swayam.
Vaikunto Bhagavan Swayam.
From the combination of Shubra and his wife Vikunta, there appeared the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikunta, along with demigods who were his personal plenary expansions. Text 5. Vaikunta Kalpito Yena
Vaikunta Kalpito Yena
Loko Loka Namaskritah
Loko Loka Namaskritah
Ramaya Prarthya Manena
Ramaya
Divya Tatriya Kamyaya.
Devya Tatriya Kamyaya.
Just to please the goddess of fortune, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikunta had a request, created another Vaikuntha planet which is worshipped by everyone. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks here that this Vaikuntha planet, like Srimad Bhagavatam, appears and is said to be born or created. But both Srimad Bhagavatam and Vaikuntha eternally exist beyond the material universes, which are enveloped by 8 kinds of coverings. As described in the 2nd canto, Lord Brahma saw Vaikuntha before the creation of the universe. Veera Raghava Acharya mentions that this Vaikuntha is within the universe. It is situated above the mountain known as Loka Loka. This planet is worshipped by everyone. Within our material universe, there is a Vaikuntha planet also. It is manifested by the Lord just for this pastime. Text 6. Tasyanubhava Katito
Tasyanubhava Katito
Gunascha Paramodaya
Gunascha Paramodaya
Bhauman Venum Sarvimane
Bhauman Venum Sarvimane
Vishnu Varnayad Guna.
Yo Vishnu Varnayad Gunan.
All although the great activities and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, various incarnations are wonderfully described, sometimes we are unable to understand them. Yet everything is possible for Lord Vishnu. If one could count the atoms of the universe, then he could count the qualities of the Supreme Personality of God. But no one can count the atoms of the universe, nor can anyone count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Right? So it's inconceivable. But he can do anything he wants. The proper, right? So Lord's glorious activities referred to in this connection took place after his personal bodyguards Jaya and Vijay became Daityas, having been cursed by the great sages Shanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara. Jaya Hiranyaksha had to fight Varaha Deva, and that same Varaha Deva is mentioned in regard to the Raivata millennium. The fighting, however, took place during the reign of the first Manu, Swayambhuva. Therefore, according to some authorities, there are two Varahas. According to others, however, Varaha appeared during the regime of Swayambhuva Manu and stayed in the water until that of Raivata Manu. Some may doubt that this could be possible, but the answer is that everything is possible. If one could count the atoms within the universe, one could count the qualities of Lord Vishnu. But the atoms of the universe are impossible for anyone to count, and similarly, no one can count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So the thing we have to accept is the Lord can do anything. He can do anything. And if whatever he does is inconceivable. That's because we don't have the ability to understand that. So that's why the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam says, if you can count the atoms, then you can count the qualities. Yes, Prabhu.
It's impossible.
I'm a little confused. Like when they say Varaha appeared during the regime of Swayambhuva Manu and stayed until that of Raivata Manu,
Yeah.
that means there were 5 Manus during which the pastime took place?
No, the pastime took place in 2 different times according to them, right? Yeah. Fight with Varaha Deva, Hiranyaksha, which, so in the Swayambhuva Manu time he comes, and then he, as Sweta Varaha, and then he's, according to some of the acharyas, that he stays in the ocean, and then he only comes up later in Raivata Manu to defeat Hiranyaksha.
But
So
he was picking up Bhumi Devi from
During the same time, yes.
So that he did over 5 Manus.
No.
He didn't
stayed in the water.
After the pastime, he stayed in the water for 5 months.
Oh.
Then he came up to fight with Hiranyaksha. Yeah. Okay? He just stayed there, So some people say that, some don't accept that. But it could be both. That's what Prabhupada says. Because the Lord can do that. Right? He can stay there forever he wants to. The Lord can do that.
But most avatars of the Lord, they just come and then he immediately.
No, you do not know.
You don't know. So
You don't know.
like even Matsya, he stays for a while.
Yeah, I think some of the pastimes, like even Narasingha, after killing some, you think he went back? He went to wash his hand, do other things, no? Right? He stayed in the cave. If we go to Mayapur, there's a cave, right? All those places, yeah. Huh? Singhachalam, right?
he visited
Yeah.
many other places.
He visited many places.
The Lord visited many places. Cool down, yeah. To go bathe in the water, and the water is reddish in color.
Yeah.
Text 7. Shastascha Shakshusha Putras
Shastascha Shakshusha Putras
Chakshusho Nama Vaimanu
Chakshusho Nama Vaimanu
Puru Purusha Sudyumna
Guru Purusha Sudyumna
Pramukha Chakshushatmaja.
Pramukha Chakshushatmaja.
The son of Chakshu, known as Chakshusha, was the 6th Manu. He had many sons, headed by Purusha, and Sudyumna. Only the prominent ones are mentioned, not everything. Can Sukadev Goswami mention all of them? Yes. he can. He is, really empowered. But he only mentions the prominent ones. Text 8. Indra mantra drumastatra
Indro mantra sdrumasatra
devapyadayo ganaha
devapyadayogana
munayastatra vairajan
munayastatra vairajan
avisma virakadaya.
avisma virakadaya.
During the reign of Chakshusha Manu, the king of heaven was known as Mantra Druma. Means Indra's name was Mantra Druma. Among the demigods were the Apyas, and among the great sages were Havishman and Viraka. Text 9. Tatrapi deva sambhutyam
Tatrapi deva samyutyam
vairajasya bhavatsutaha
vairajasya bhavatsutaha
ajito nama bhagavan
ajito nama bhagavan
Amsena Jagatapati.
Amsena Jagatapati.
In the 6th Manvantara millennium, Lord Vishnu, the master of the universe, appeared in his partial expansion. He was begotten by Vairaja in the womb of his wife Deva Sambhuti, and his name was Ajita. Okay, this is a partial incarnation. Text 10. Payodimyena nirmatya
Payodimyena nirmatya
Suranam sadita sudha
Suranam sadita sudha
Brahmamanum ambasidrittaha
Ramamano ambasiditaha
Kurmarupena mandaraha.
Kurmarupena mandaraha.
By churning the ocean of milk, Ajita produced nectar for the demigods. In the form of a tortoise, he moved here and there, carrying on his back the great mountain known as Mandara. Excuse me, I should have turned it off. Oh, it's a crank call. What is it?
Prank call.
Stand.
Scam call.
So Ajita is same as Kurma avatar.
He expands into Kurma, it seems. Yeah. Text 11 and 12. Sri Rajavacha
Srirajavacha
Yata Bhagavata Brahman
Yata Bhagavata Brahman
Mahita Shira Sagaraha
Mahita Kshirasagaraha
Yadartam Va Yataschadrim
Yatartam va yataschadrim
Dadaram Bhucharatmana
Dadaram Bhucharatmana
Tamritam Surai Praptam
Yatamrutam Surai Praptam
Kimchanyam Abhavattata
Kinchanyadavattataha
Tad Bhagavata Karma
Etat Bhagavata Karma
Vadasva Paramadbhutam.
Vadasva Paramadbhutam.
King Parikshit inquired, O great Brahmana, Shukadeva Goswami, why and how did Lord Vishnu churn the ocean of milk? For what reason did he stay in the water as a tortoise and hold up Mandara mountain? How did the demigods obtain their nectar? And what other things were produced from the churning of the ocean? Kindly describe all these wonderful activities of the Lord.
Questions.
He's got a few things he wants answered.
Is the pastime of so are these things recited in chronological order?
So
Not necessarily. But he's going through the different manus, so yeah, in that sense, yes. Yeah. But overall, no, he jumps from many places. Yeah.
because
In this section, yeah.
So the Gajendra pastime actually happens before
Before,
the
yes.
Samudra Manthan.
Yes.
And these manus are in a chronological order.
Yes.
Whatever he is
Yes,
describing.
there is a PowerPoint that Amritanand Prabhu has, in which everything is there. You remember you shared with us a while ago, different manus.
Anyway, this is in chronology of the manus. Text 13. Tvaya sankatya manena
Tvaya sankatya manena
mahimna satvatam pate
Mahimna satvatam pate
nati tripyati me chittam
Nadi Divyati me chittam
suchiram tapatapitam.
Suchiram tapatapitam.
My heart which is disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material life, is not yet sated with hearing you describe the glorious activities of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of the devotees. So he's hankering to hear more. So not satisfied. I want to hear more. That's how devotee is. He wants to hear more and more about Krishna. Text 14. Sri Sutta Vacha
श्रीसुत उवाच
Sampristo Bhagavan Evam
सम्पृष्टो भगवानेवम्
Vaipayana Suto Dvijaha
द्वैपायनसुतो द्विजः
Abhinandya Hare Viryam
अभिनन्द्य हरेर्वीर्यम्
Abhyachastum Prachakrame.
अभ्याचस्तुं प्रचक्रमे.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, "O learned Brahmanas assembled here at Naimi Sharanya. When Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Dvaipayana, was thus questioned by the king, he congratulated the king and then endeavored to describe further the glories of the Supreme Personality of God." Right? He didn't say, "Why are you asking so many questions?" Right? Nowadays, that's how it is, right? Parents will say, "Arey, shut up and do." But here he's explaining. Because such glories of the Lord are welcome. And we want to hear about it, such things. Yeah. Yayatma Suprasida. So it's very satisfying. Text 15 and 16. Sri Shuka Vacha
श्रीशुक उवाच
Yada Yudhe Shurai Deva
यदा युद्धे सुरैर्देवा
Vadyamana Sita Yudhai
पद्यमाना सुतायुधै
Gata Savo Nipatita
तथा सर्वो निपातिता
Notisteran Smaburishaha
नोतिष्ठेरस्मभूरिशः
Yada Durvasa Sapena
यदा दूर्वासशापेन
Sindralokastrayo Nipa
इन्द्रलोकस्त्रयो नृपा
Nishvika Chabhavam Satra
निश्चिकाशाभवंस्तत्र
Neshu Rigyadaya Kriyaha.
नेषुर्विद्यादया क्रियः.
Sukadeva Goswami said, when the asuras with their serpent weapons severely attacked the demigods in a fight, many of the demigods fell and lost their lives. Indeed, they could not be revived. At that time, O king, the demigods had been cursed by Durvasa Muni. The three worlds were poverty stricken, and therefore ritualistic ceremonies could not be performed. The effects of this were very serious. So in the Prabhupada, Prabhupada says, it is described, this is the pastime, while Durvasa Muni was passing on the road, he saw Indra on the back of his elephant and was pleased to offer Indra a garland from his own neck. Indra, however, being too puffed up, took the garland and without respect for Durvasa Muni, he placed it on the trunk of his carrier elephant. The elephant, being an animal, could not understand the value of the garland, and thus the elephant threw the garland between its legs and smashed it. Seeing this insulting behavior, Durvasa Muni immediately cursed Indra to be poverty-stricken, bereft of all material opulence. Thus the demigods, afflicted on one side by the fighting demons and on the other side by the curse of Durvasa Muni, lost all the material opulences in the three worlds. So that's how they became in that particular risky situation. Now, Prabhupada then talks about having opulence in the material world in the second paragraph. He says if you have opulence, it is sometimes very risky. If you have a lot of money, you cannot sleep also. Right? You keep in your home, you check 3-4 times, you open the cupboard to see if it's there or not. It's risky. I was telling you all, right? One devotee I know in India, Delhi, she had money, she used to change money for US currency to rupees. So devotees would go there and they change. But one day someone found out, one of these people. So they broke into the house and she's like 70, 80 years old and they beat her up. Really beat her up, these people. And then they broke the bill, the cupboard, took the money and left. She almost died, but she recovered. So it's very risky, if you want to accumulate a lot of wealth, or in this case, opulence. And the other thing, qualities that can manifest in a materially opulent person is they don't care about anyone. You can see the present government, all the wealthy people, the business people, they don't care. Actually, according to our Vedic understanding, if you have more, you should share. You're supposed to share. You can't hoard it. So otherwise your heart would get hard. You will not care about other people's suffering. Yeah. So then continuing, that's one thing. And then another thing is they will commit offenses to great personalities, such as devotees and saints. So you can see Indra became very puffed up. And then he decided to treat his well-wishers, and even in fact, even in one case, his own guru, he does that. And so that is the next story with Bali Maharaj. Yeah. So he does this oftentimes, and then you wonder why he does that. But of course, he is playing a part for us to learn. All right. Dana durma danda. Too much wealth makes one blind. So therefore, you should plan to retire. Plan to retire quickly. Don't get too much wealth, and then you become blind. If this can happen to Indra, what about us, right? So be careful. The world will make you think you are okay, you're better, who cares? That attitude will come. Who cares about this Maharaj, this sannyas, this devotee? Then but then this is what will happen. No? Prabhupada says when one is material opulent, he should learn to be sober and well behaved towards Vaishnavas and saintly persons. Otherwise, he will fall down. Or he will not get the blessings of the Vaishnavas.
So although Krishna from time to time he takes away money from devotees, right? So that they don't become too puffed up.
Yeah. Did you lose some?
Not me, in general. We hear from stories in the
Okay. Text 17 and 18. Naishamyaitat suragana Mahendra Varunadaya Adya Gachan Swayam Mantrair Mantrayanto Vinishchitam Tato Brahma Sabam Jagmur Eror Murdani Sarvashaha Sarvam Vijñāpayam Chakru Pranata Paramestini. Okay. Lord Indra, Varuna, and the other demigods, seeing their lives in such a state, consulted among themselves, but they could not find any solution. Then all the demigods assembled and went together to the peak of Sumeru mountain. There in the assembly of Lord Brahma, they fell down to offer Lord Brahma their obeisances, and then they informed him of all the incidents that had taken place. Right? So when you are bewildered, go to the authority. Don't try to solve yourself. Like Arjuna, right? He was bewildered. Immediately he surrendered to Krishna in the chariot. He says, I don't know what's happening. You tell me. Text 19:20. Savilokendra Vayuvadin Nisatvan Vigata Prabhan Lokana Mangala Prayan Asuran Ayata Vibhu Samahitena Manasa Smaran Purusham Param Vachot Pulla Vadano Devansa Bhagavan Paraha. Upon seeing that the demigods were bereft of all influence and strength, and that the three worlds were consequently devoid of auspiciousness, and upon seeing that the demigods were in an awkward position, whereas all the demons were flourishing, Lord Brahma, who is above all the demigods and who is most powerful, concentrated his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, being encouraged, he became bright-faced and spoke to the demigods as follows. So he has the red phone, hotline, red phone to the Supreme Lord. So through his heart, the connection is there, and the Lord has assured, don't worry. So this is how they communicate with the Lord. They don't everyone go to Vaikuntha like that, but it's only always is through Brahma. And Brahma has the ability to connect with Krishna and get the decisions to make like that. All right, so demigods or devotees, however, are concerned with the welfare of all living beings, whereas demons and asuras, they want to place the entire creation in difficulty. That's the difference, okay? And in this situation, even Brahma was very concerned because generally the demigods will control the asuras, but here the asuras were more powerful, so he was thinking like that. Srila Rupa Goswami, for example, left his ministership and went to Vrindavan for the benefit of the entire world. Lokanam hitakarinau. Tribhuvane, right? This is the nature of a saintly person or demigod. Okay. Welfare of the other people are very important. Like Prabhupada also gave up everything and came to the West with nothing. Yeah? Even impersonalists think of the welfare of all people. Thus, Brahma was very much concerned at seeing the demons in power. Definitely. He doesn't want the universe to go into chaos. Aham bhavo yuyam mato suradayo.
Aham bhavo yuyamato suradayo.
Manusyatiya druma garma jataya.
Manushyatirya dhruvadharma jataya.
Yashyavataram sakala visarjita.
Yashyavataram sakala visarjita.
Vrajama sarve sharanam tam avyayam.
Vrajama sarve sharanam tamavyayam.
Lord Brahma said, I, Lord Shiva, all of you demigods, the demons, the living entities born of perspiration, the living beings born of eggs, the trees and plants sprouting from the earth, and the living entities born from embryos, all come from the Supreme Lord, from his incarnation of Raja Guna, Lord Brahma, the Guna Avatar, and from the great sages, rishis who are part of me. Let us therefore go to the Supreme Lord and take shelter of his lotus feet. Okay. So it always happens like that. They approach Brahma and then he'll meditate and then he'll understand he has to approach Lord. And they usually go to Svetadip. Yeah. And there the Lord will reveal his plans. Text 22. Na yasya vadyo na cha rakshaniyo.
Yasya nacharashaniyo.
Nopekshaniya dharaniya pakshaha.
Nopekshanayadaraniya pakshaha.
Tatapi sarga sthiti samyamartam.
Tathapi sarga sthiti samyamartam.
Datte raja sattvatamam sikale.
Datte raja sattvatamam sikale.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no one to be killed, no one to be protected, no one to be neglected, and no one to be worshipped. Nonetheless, for the sake of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, according to time, he accepts different forms as incarnations, either in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, or the mode of ignorance. Okay? Basically, the Lord is equal to everyone, but he has special feelings towards devotees. Okay? Yeah, so therefore he takes avatars to protect the devotees. And then the laws within this material world only acts on the living entities. It doesn't act on the Lord. Okay.
So, Prabhu, how can we understand incarnations in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance?
Brahma, Shiva.
Oh,
You should know that.
yeah. I could not correlate.
Okay. You're an engineer? Yeah? Yeah. That explains. The engineers compartmentalize things.
She's not engineer, Prabhu. She's not degraded as engineers are.
No, she's a devotee. But I'm saying the way they think is different. Yeah.
Devotional engineer.
That's why when she'll put a box and say this is what it is, So that's how she's thinking. Text 23. Ayam chatasya stitapalanaksana
Ayam chatasya stitipalakshana
Sattvam jusanasya bhavaya dehinam
Sattvam jusadasya bhavala dehinam
Tasma brajama sharanam jagadgurum
Tasmat prajama sharanam jagadgurum
Swanam sanodashyati shamsura priya
Swaram sanodhyasati samsura priyaha.
Now in the time to invoke the mode of goodness. Now is the time to invoke the mode of goodness of the living entities who have accepted material bodies. The mode of goodness is meant to establish the Supreme Lord's rule, which will maintain the existence of the creation. Yes,
Sorry.
what happened?
Nothing.
Okay. Translation. Now is the time to invoke the mode of goodness of the living entities who have accepted material bodies. The mode of goodness is meant to establish the Supreme Lord's rule, which will maintain the existence of the creation. Therefore, this is the opportune moment to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because He is naturally very kind and dear to the demigods, He will certainly bestow good fortune upon us. Okay. So good decisions is made by having good association. Yeah. And you can see that they came he with the devotees, the demigods, they came to the right conclusion. Of course, when we talk about material universe, it's always either one or the other gunas we are affected by. But if you take up devotional service, you will usually remain in mode of generally, but if you do it properly, we are always situated in transcendental universe like that. So Prabhupada says from this verse in the second paragraph, we can understand the situation of Kali Yuga, through which we are now passing, just before the beginning of Kali Yuga. Or in other words, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, Lord Sri Krishna appeared and left his instructions in the form of Bhagavad Gita, in which he asked all living entities to surrender unto him. But the problem is, we don't know how to surrender. So Mahaprabhu comes to teach us how to surrender. What is this Sarva Dharmam Parityaja? We don't know. So Mahaprabhu came to teach us how to surrender. How do we surrender then? What are some ways we are surrendering?
Some people.
Sankirtan, what else? Chanting, yeah, chanting. What else?
Reading, go to the Mangal Aarti.
Yeah, you're surrendering your mind, yeah.
Service.
Service, yeah. There are so many ways to please the Supreme Lord.
The preaching.
Preaching also, yeah. All these are surrendering because you're afraid to go out and talk to people. You think they won't like us if we preach, stuff like that. It's all based on ego and so on. So this is how we surrender to Krishna. Even though there's so many problems here, and that's in the last paragraph, Kale dosha nidhi raja nasti eko mahan guna kirtanareva krishnasya mukta sangha param raja. So many faults in this age, but we can simply overcome all of that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So anyone who chants, if you tell them please chant, you can see they chant. That means they can surrender. They have the ability to surrender. That's the first level of surrender. Taking japa bag and chant. That means you accept that. I will chant. Yeah, like that. So this Sankirtan movement is very important for us because it will solve so many problems that we are having in this material world. And even though this is the shortest age, Kali Yuga, simply by chanting we get the topmost blessings. Krishna Prema. Yeah. So in the let's see which paragraph. In the second last paragraph, third last paragraph, Prabhupada says Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement consists of spreading Krishna Sankirtana. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Why is it so glorious? This has also been explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam. By the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one's heart is cleansed. So again, the emphasis is that we should be chanting nicely, chant properly. Think about it when you chant. The whole difficulty is that in this age of Kali, there is no sattva guna and no clearance of the heart, and therefore people are making the mistake of identifying with their bodies. But if you chant, you can come to this understanding that I am not the body. In the beginning, it may not be easy, but as you progress in your life, you'll eventually realize that I am a servant of Krishna. So therefore, you don't identify with the body in that sense. You identify that you are a servant of Krishna. So that's most important, to understand your soul. And then you can do devotional service in that mode, in the proper mode. Not that you wake up one day and you find you're floating above your body. I'm no more the body. Not like that. You use the body in the service of Krishna. Okay? So everybody is in the bodily concept. And Prabhupada quotes Thomas Huxley, one of the philosophers. Gokara, Saeva Gokara. Everyone thinks they are like the animals. All right, so then we go down to the last paragraph. Where everyone is suffering, Prabhupada highlights, and then he says if one actually wants happiness, one must go to the spiritual world. So what he's saying is there's no way you can be happy in the material world. No way. Okay? The material world is characterized by a struggle for existence, and survival of the fittest is a well-known principle, but the poor souls of this material world who do not know what is survival and who is fit. Survival does not mean that one should die. Survival means that one should not die, but should enjoy an everlastingly blissful life of knowledge. So this is how you convince people. And you tell them the real thing is to live forever, everlastingly, enjoy the bliss. How to do that? We have the solution. Are you interested? Come to the temple, read the book, take it. Yeah, like that. Otherwise, what happens? We are, as Prabhupada says, we are always in the struggle for existence, survival of the fittest, like that. And that's an animal consciousness. So, I'm better than you, like that. And so we have to give people Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita so that they can follow the good instructions therein, how to stop this struggle for existence. Okay. And so, why is it good? It benefits us and it benefits the other person. So that is why it's very good. The Sankirtan movement is therefore very good. Okay, so we can help people to take up this movement. Means we have created good fortune for them, and that is what our role is. That's real Bhagyavan. Okay, you give good fortune to others, and you become fortunate also. Okay, text 24. Sri Shuka Vacha Vidyabhasya Suran Vedaha Sahadevararindama Ajitasya Padam Sakshat Jagama Tamasa Param. O Maharaj Parikshit, subduer of all enemies, after Lord Brahma finished speaking to the demigods, he took them with him to the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is beyond this material world. The Lord's abode is on an island called Svetadvipa, which is situated in the ocean of milk. Purport. Maharaj Parikshit is addressed here as Arindama, subduer of all enemies. Not only do we have enemies outside of our bodies, but within our bodies there are many enemies. Of course, lust, anger, and greed. Okay. So he is Aridama because he could control all this. Okay, that is why he is Arindama. And he's not only expert in controlling this, he's also expert in controlling all these enemies, all the nonsense people like that. And Prabhupada highlights that he was not at all angry with the Muni's son who had cursed him. Who's the son? What's his name?
Shungi.
Oh, what? Shringi. So you say Vishash.
Shamik Rishi's
Samik Rishi's son. Yeah. Good points. Rather, he accepted the curse and prepared for his death in the association of Sukadev Goswami. Not easy, somebody tells you you're going to die and they're so powerful, how are you going to take it? No? Right? It's not possible.
Face it.
Like in the case when Vashishta Muni and Vishwamitra, before he became, he was also cursing the Muni, right? So much pastime, He cursed his son to die, he cursed his sons to die, they all died, Finally, he then realized he was dealing with someone very advanced. And Vashishta Muni never became angry with Vishwamitra. Yeah. Before he was known as Vishwamitra. What king was he?
Yes.
I can't remember. Anyway. So while he was in this situation, Maharaj Parikshit, he wanted to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. He didn't worry about anything else. He wanted to just prepare for his death. In this case, he knew he was going to die. Not every one of us will know when we are going to die. So we should therefore be reading Bhagavatam every day. Very, very important. You may say why, because he will prepare you. At the time of death, you will be fearless. You will remain fearless. Like, for example, there was 2 devotees who passed away in Houston in the last 3 weeks, right? One devotee knew he was dying, so he had like 2 months, 3 months. Okay, so then they were preparing him slowly. He stopped eating, stopped drinking, and then finally he left. The other devotee suddenly left. Just like that. He had massive heart attack. Boom. Yeah. Of course, both are good devotees, but the point is, when you know, then you can at least do something about it. But if you don't know how, so therefore, if you are always reading and studying scripture, then even if that comes anytime, it doesn't matter because Krishna is always with you. You will always remember, right? You will always remember. If anything happens suddenly, also you'll shout Krishna's name like that. And if a door closes on your hand, what would you say? Ayo, Krishna. Huh? Yeah, so you think, it's true. So these are some of the things you have to ask yourself. Will I chant the name or will I say that can come suddenly, bang, and then what are you going to scream? Yeah. So it's very good to, become sober. So here, another word Prabhupada wants to highlight is Sura Priya. It means dear. Dear devotee. In this case, Krishna's dear. Krishna likes them. Even though he's equal to everyone, Prabhupada says he is especially inclined to his devotees. And then this one here is highlighted in the Bhagavad Gita also. Prabhupada has highlighted. There are 2 kinds of men within this world. One is Deva and the other one is Asura. Dva bhuta sargo lokesmin Deva Asura eva cha. So there's 2 types. One will worship Krishna, the other one ignores or don't accept Krishna. A classic example is Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was thinking if you stop all Brahminical activities, Vishnu will suffer. Yeah, he was thinking. So he stopped all Brahminical yagya sacrifice. He said everyone should only worship him. Yeah. That's how he thought. Then all the things would go to me, so I will be powerful. That's a nonsense.
He thought Vishnu to be another demigod.
Yeah, another demigod. And then finally, Prabhupada says concerning Ajitasya Padam, the abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the milk ocean of this material world, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Padam Shiro Dadi Sta Svetadvipam Tamasa Prakrite Param. The island known as Svetadvipa, which is in the ocean of milk, is transcendental. It has nothing to do with this material world. A city government may have a rest house where the governor and important government officers stay. Such a rest house is not an ordinary house. Similarly, all this with the Dvipa, which is in the ocean of milk, is in this material world. It is Param Padam, transcendental. So we shouldn't think it is material because it's in the material world. No, not like that. Just like Vrindavan, in India, Vrindavan is considered to be transcendental spiritual. Just we can't see the transcendental nature of the, we can only see the external covering, which is Maya. Text 25. Tatra drishta swarupaya
Drishta Swarupaya
Sruta purvaya vai prabhu
Sutta Purvaya Vai Prabhu
Stutim abruta daivibir
Sutim Abruta Daivibir
Girbistu avahitendriya.
Girbistu Avatitendriyaha.
That's why the Dvip. Lord Brahma offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he had never seen the Supreme Lord. Simply because Lord Brahma had heard about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from Vedic literature, with a fixed mind he offered the Lord prayers as written or approved by Vedic literature. So he hasn't seen the Lord, but he went there and he just prayed. So he knows that's what he has to do. He's one of the most intelligent persons in the universe. So if he is doing it, means you don't question. You can't think he has no intelligence. No, it's not like that. It's just like also, we hear about the president or all these other personalities, but we never get to see them, right? No way. Even if you go to the White House, then nobody will let you in. So it's like that. Maybe you see the president on the TV or the news, you hear, but you cannot get his darshan easily.
Direct perception.
Yeah, you can't get a direct perception. But here it's different. So therefore they were praying like that, based on the Shruti, Shruta Purvaya. So by following that, he is hoping to get the audience of the Lord. So Prabhupada also says, people say, why we can't show them God? And then Prabhupada says, this is ludicrous. It is not necessary for one to see God before he can accept God. Even if he sees God, he will not accept God. Right? Like Duryodhana, all these other personalities, they couldn't accept Krishna. Our sensory perception is always incomplete. Therefore, even if you see God, we may not be able to understand Him. Like Mahaprabhu also, right? A lot of people couldn't accept Mahaprabhu's position until finally he took sannyas. That's the reason why he took sannyas, because they were not taking him seriously. So sannyas people will accept. Yeah, okay, sannyasi is saying, listen. It is like that. It's not easy. Our ego, our lack of knowledge will make us always doubt. Even if the Lord were to come today now and sit among us, you may think he's a beautiful guy, but we'll never think he's God. Or we'll think he's so learned, he speaks so well like that. But we'll never understand that he's God. Mahaprabhu was like that. Right? People didn't know he was God. Except those few people, after they saw his behavior and they know about all the Shastras, then they say he is God. Then whenever people were to say to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Same.
in praise of you are God and so on, he will close his ear and run away. So it is not easy to understand God. So that's why the Lord says, Avajananti ma muddha manisim tanumashta. When they see me, these fools and rascals think I'm an ordinary person. So seeing God is not important. Most important is to
Follow your instructions.
hear
About God.
about God first.
That's true.
Huh?
That's true.
Tachrinu, Arjuna, also hear first. So most important is you have to hear first. How do we know that it is important? What is the pastime in the Bhagavatam? Huh?
That
Hearing is more important.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit, that's what I was thinking. What is this? You guys don't know.
The first
Oh, blame it on the Prashad. Okay, Parikshit Maharaj. What's the other personality?
that the ghost is listening to the Bhagavatam. And the tree.
No, I'm talking about Bhagavatam. I'm not
The
talking
Bhagavatam
about.
only.
That's not in the Bhagavatam.
crow passed away.
Huh?
Crow passed
Crow?
away. Crow.
Crow in the Bhagavatam?
No.
No. I'm talking about Bhagavatam that you have read. Yes, Rukmini.
Yeah.
Srutva guna bhuvana sundaram simmatam te. Right? She says
Just by hearing.
simply by hearing, she said, I fell in love with him. How is that possible, right? We hear so many people, we don't fall in love like that. But when she heard about Krishna, his glories, she fell in love with him. So that is how we understand. We know. First we have to hear, then we can understand the person. Simply same thing with chanting. You have to hear properly. Then the Lord will reveal. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, like that. So that is very important for us. So anyway, Brahma was not concocting anything. He whatever he did or repeated, it's all from the scripture. Okay, so therefore Prabhupada says we cannot concoct prayers. It must be approved. So in the same way, when people wrote anything about Shastra or prayers of the Lord, when they came to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu refused to listen to them. He says, first talk to Swarup Damodar. When Swarup Damodar said it's okay, then I will listen. So because Swarup Damodar is very, very qualified, he understands this literatures very deeply. Yeah. So then after going through him, then Mahaprabhu will listen. Otherwise, people will concoct nonsense, like that. Prabhupada continues, in our Krishna consciousness movement, we do not allow any song that has not been approved or sung by bona fide devotees. So no movie songs, on the altar. We cannot allow cinema songs to be sung in the temple. No, this is a very famous singer, let us sing for only this time. Right? We generally sing two songs. One is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. This is bona fide. It is always mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that it is accepted by the Acharyas. The other, of course, is the Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That's interesting, right? Prabhupada says there are only two songs. So that's funny, right? So basically he's saying, don't try to be, so great, just chant. We generally sing two songs. He didn't say we only sing two songs.
We also sing.
Okay. So then he says we may also sing the songs of Naratam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Lochana Das Thakur. So therefore we should be able to sing these songs also. But these two songs, Sri Krishna Chaitanya and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, are sufficient to please the Supreme Personality of God here. Although we cannot see Him. That is what we should know. We cannot see Him. It's okay. We can chant. So if you are in difficulty, you just chant. The Lord will, in your heart, will listen. Text 20. Yeah?
So I mean, here and also in the beginning of the Krishna book, where Vishnu is very inaccessible even to Brahma, they have to go to the shore of the ocean prison, they can't even see him. But in other pastimes, Vishnu seems to be very accessible, like for Dora, someone just directly go to him with shelter, or Bigu Muni just directly go and kick him. And also the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they're depicted as appearing together, to either test someone or get back to someone. So how do we understand how do we reconcile these two pictures?
Meaning reconcile means why
on one
is it
side
like that?
here, like Vishnu is very inaccessible, like even Brahma can't approach them directly. But in the other pastimes, he's very accessible. Like just some rishi, the Muni can go directly to him, and also he clearly appeared directly with Brahma and Vishnu. But here, say Brahma can't actually have even seen him.
Yeah,
So-
it seems that here this Brahma has never seen him. So it could be a different Brahma.
Or could there be different Vishnu? Like because
Could be a different Vishnu. I don't know.
This is Shirodakshaya.
This is Svetadvip is Shirodakshaya Vishnu.
but when you have those like Trimurti, they
That's a
all-
different expansions. Yeah.
So
But here it appears that he has never seen. That's what the
Yes, our Brahma hasn't
translation.
seen looks.
Huh?
Our Brahma hasn't seen looks like.
No, not like that. In the Brahma Samhita, he sees Krishna. No?
Also,
The
before
Brahma
Krishna was born,
Vimochana-
they go to Vishnu, they see, right? Talk to him.
Who?
And then Krishna and Vishnu.
No, even that
They don't see him.
they don't see him. The advent of Krishna, he doesn't see. He,
twice.
in the heart, he reveals.
Okay.
In the Brahma Vimochana, he sees. Brahma sees.
He sees, but he is confused.
But after confusion is revealed, he
Then he is revealed after that. After that, he takes the position.
But then at that time, all the Brahmas assemble.
No, that's not at that time. That's Dwaraka.
Brahma Vimochana.
all the Brahmas also come.
Really?
Universes.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought only in Dwaraka they come.
All the cowherd boys were there, right? In the form of Vishnu Murti.
Yeah.
After that,
All the Brahmas
all the
also.
Brahmas
Yes,
actually
but I
arrive.
don't
Brahma
think-
gets there.
Krishna says that you are just one of the Brahmas.
Of the small.
Oh, yeah. Now I don't know.
So he has direct vision.
At that time, yes. So that Brahma, yes. So we don't know which Brahma
So it
is.
is that sometimes he sees Krishna, sometimes not.
No. Here he says he has never seen.
It can't be like that.
Yeah. This Brahma seems to have not seen it,
I
right?
thought they all related to our current Brahma.
No, this is not in that. Not necessarily.
The
It's
Brahma-
all Manus
because
are
Manus
same
are
Manu.
coming-
Yeah, I know. In a day of Brahma,
Yeah.
right?
So it must be like.
Manus are same, but this need not be our.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not get confused. Let's for now put this aside. I'll
This
try and
is the
figure.
story for Chakshu Manu.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So maybe this is
Same
a different
Brahma.
Manu, different line. I don't know.
No, but the Brahma is the same.
Brahma
Brahma
is
की
the
तो life
same.
एक ही
Brahma
होगी।
is same. It's just one day of Brahma.
Yeah.
तो पता नहीं कितने आते हैं।
Okay, let's not worry so much. Let's see what's happening. Text 26. Sri Brahmo Vacha
Brahmo Vacha
Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadhyam
Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadhyam
Guhasayam Nishkalam Apratarkyam
Guhashayam Nishkalam Aprakartyam
Manograyanam Vachashani Ruptam
Manograyanam Vachasani
Namamahe Deva Varam Varanyam.
Namamahi Deva Varam Varanyam.
Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord, O changeless, unlimited Supreme Truth, you are the origin of everything, being all pervading. You are in everyone's heart and also in the atom. You have no material qualities. Indeed, you are inconceivable. The mind cannot catch you by speculation, and words fail to describe you. You are the Supreme Master of everyone, and therefore you are worshipable for everyone. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. So here again is a description of the Lord's inconceivable nature. Everything material must change from one form to another. For example, from earth to earthen pot, and from earthen pot to earth again. All our creations are temporary, impermanent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is eternal, and similarly, the living entities or parts of Him are also eternal. The Supreme Personality of God is Sanatana, eternal, and the individual living entities are also eternal. The difference is that Krishna, or God, is a supreme eternal, whereas the individual souls are minute, fragmental eternals. So that's the verse, Nityo, Nityananam, Chaitanam, Chaitananam. Yeah. The living entities are innumerable, but the Lord is one. No one is greater than Him, and no one is equal to Him. Thus, the Lord is a supreme worshipable object because He is always taking care of the. Prabhupada says, right? The singular number takes care of the plural number. Like that. He maintains and gives them. Therefore, He is supreme worshipable object. The Lord is supreme because no one can evaluate Him by mental speculation or jugglery of words. Yeah, that's true. The Lord can travel more quickly than the mind, right? Our mind is fast. You can think of any place in the world, but He's faster than that. Right? You think of the place, but the Lord is already there. It's that how fast He is. Okay, so we know we cannot think that we are the same as the Lord based on all this. So Prabhupada quotes from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to show us the position. And finally, he says, to understand this, we have to take shelter of the Guru Parampara. And the understanding comes from our predecessor, acharyas and so on. And then he again quotes once more the 12 Mahajans. And Brahma is one of them. Right?
So in this, Yudhishthira Maharaj is not there.
Huh? Yeah. Which one?
In this one,
Yeah.
from Bhagavatam,
Yudhishthira. Yeah.
Yudhishthira Maharaj is
Not in the
It's in
Bhagavatam,
Chaitanya.
but I gave a quote from Chaitanya Bhagavatam. I
Yeah, I think it's about
I said I can't remember.
No, I don't know. I don't remember saying Adilila, but you said Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Yeah. I will check and see. Text 27. Vipaschitam pranamano dhyatmana
Vipaschitam pranamanodyatmanam
atendriyabhasamanindramavranam
Agendriyabhasamanindramavyanam
Chayatapau yatra nagridra pakshau
Jayatrapau yatra nagrida pakshau
Tamaksharam kam triyugam rajamahi
Tamaksharam kam triyugam prajamahi.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead directly and indirectly knows how everything, including the living force, mind, and intelligence, is working under His control. He is the illuminator of everything and has no ignorance. He does not have a material body subject to the reactions of previous activities and is free from the ignorance of partiality and materialistic education. I therefore take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord who is eternal, all-pervading, and as great as the sky, and who appears in 6 opulences in 3 yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara. The Lord is the origin of all emanations. Based on the first opening verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmadi asya yatanyavat vitaraschate surabhiksya. Anidram, meaning always awake and free from ignorance. Arjuna is known as Buddha, meaning conqueror of sleep. And sleep is said to be in the lotus. But then, as a devotee, should you not sleep?
Only
Only how much ever you need. So you can.
6 hours.
Prabhupada says 6 hours. Yeah.
Like sleeping on the ashram to depend on ashram, you are brahmachari or sannyasi. You say grasta for 6 hours and sannyasi. I read somewhere 4 hours or something.
And I don't know, is there? Is there such a thing? Sannyasi only sleep less? I don't know.
I somewhere I read the different time, different hours for brahmachari sannyasi.
I have not read.
No?
I have not read. Maybe I'll just skip through it. Yeah.
Conveniently.
Is
Huh?
this across age groups?
Pardon?
Is this across age groups as well?
Age group, yes. Prabhupada says that children should sleep like
More.
a lot, yeah. So that the brain can develop. Yeah. But older people, he says 6 hours. But when he gets very old, you cannot actually sleep. Yeah.
the parents are always trying.
So you go to your parents' place and sleep. No, you shouldn't let the mode of ignorance conquer you. You know. Yeah. So anidram, okay. Because the Lord is full of knowledge. Mattasviti jnanam aponam cha. Why? Because he gives intelligence to everyone who causes everyone to forget. Why does he do that?
Merciful.
Yeah, but how?
And then we can forget all this.
Forget our
Past.
past birth and nonsense that we did. Yeah, so in that sense. And sometimes he allows us to remember like Gajendra. So Mahabharat Maharaj. Yeah. That's mercy. And that's the way he helped them direct towards him, right? Yeah. So because he has to do so many things, so Krishna says, Prabhupada writes, therefore he has no time to sleep. That's funny though. And he is never in ignorance of our activities. He's always aware. Can you handle that? We can't, no? If you are aware of every single thing, you will go crazy, no? Right? So that's another reason why you're not aware of your billions of life that you have taken birth. If you're aware of that, you go crazy. But the Lord, this is inconceivable. He is aware of what everyone is doing at every moment. And at the same time, he's not aware also. Because he's enjoying his pastime. Oh,
Inconceivable.
it's inconceivable.
As Garbhodaksha Vishnu, what is he?
As Garbhodaksha Vishnu, yes.
Like what is he?
What is he?
Doing?
Resting on the.
Oh, he's resting there.
Yoganidra.
Yeah. He's resting. He is the source of the creation within this material world. From him, all the jivas come. Yeah. So he is the abode for the jivas during the annihilation phase. Yeah. And then after that, the recreation subsequent, they come back out of him again. But then when the whole material world time is over, then they all go back to Mahavishnu. Yeah. So they all are always lying in bed, waiting to restart the whole thing.
But he always enjoying pastimes with Ramadevi.
That's in Brahma Samhita it says he's actually externally appears to be in a nidra, yoga nidra, but he's actually having pastime with his consort, Ramadevi, yeah, Lakshmi.
So in translation, we say he coming in 3 yugas, 6 opulence, right? So how much Kali Yuga? How many opulence is coming in Kali Yuga?
What do you mean?
Like in the
He has six opulence always.
So he coming 6 opulence in Kali Yuga too.
Yeah, Mahaprabhu executed all 6 full, in full. Yeah. Only thing he didn't do is show that he can kill people. So he didn't kill them with his weapons. Rather, he kill their demoniac qualities with his beauty. Yeah? Right or not? What is that? Krishna Varnam Sango Pango Parsham. Sangha Parsham. Astra, he uses that. He uses that as his weapon, his beauty. So he uses his opulence like that, different ways. Okay. So now you understand the Lord does not sleep. And Prabhupada gives him credit for taking care of all of us, so he has no time to sleep. I find that very funny. Okay. Okay, then Tri Yuga, because although he appeared previously in Satya Yuga, Treta, and Dwapara Yuga, when he appears in the Kali Yuga, you don't see him exhibit his opulent form. He doesn't exhibit that. Yeah, he doesn't exhibit it openly, but it's still there. Okay.
In the spiritual world, the devotees sleep. Or?
In the spiritual, yeah, for pastime purposes, they'll sleep. Yeah.
But on like a daily basis, we sleep here. Every
Yeah.
day.
They will sleep. Yeah. If you're worried you can't sleep. No, it's like every day there's some pastime is happening. So the cowherd boys all go home and then they'll sleep. Krishna doesn't sleep, but everyone else sleeps. Krishna is always out to do some mischief. But all the other his associates, they will sleep, but they will
But
dream
in Krishna
about.
book, it is said that Krishna wakes up at Brahma Muhurta 2:30
Yeah,
in the morning.
it is said like that, but actually, when Mother Yashoda puts him to sleep, he's pretending to sleep, and as soon as she closes the door, he's the thing, and then he climbs out the window and goes to his next pastime. Yeah, so then he comes back just before Mother Yashoda comes into the room. So he sneaks under the bed mattress, and then she'll call him. And then he goes and takes his bath, and then she puts oil, and then the servants come and massage him, and then they pour hot water, and then after that, after shower, he takes some sweet, nice sweets. In fact, before shower, he'll take sweets. After that, he takes sweet. Then he'll go and they'll help him put on all his clothing, and then after that, he'll eat something. And then his cowherd boys all, hey, Krishna, what you doing? Come outside. So he'll go outside, play with them. Mother Yashoda will say, come take breakfast. So he'll come and eat breakfast. And then the cowherd boys say, hey, what are you doing? So she gives him lunch back. So a lot of eating sweets, like
It's allowed.
Huh? Allowed, yeah. So you can eat sweet.
For Krishna.
So Krishna can eat. We are not Krishna.
No, you took the remnants.
Okay, Prabhu says you won't get diabetes in spiritual.
Yeah.
So eat as much as.
What about here?
Here
Still
you be careful. Yeah. Yeah, this is not the spiritual.
So the childhood pastimes eternally happen. Like, even if we
Yeah,
go,
so then
we can also
they get up and then a new pastime happens. So the whole pastime will start from like the baby Krishna. He'll move all the way when he goes to Mathura. And then they come back and they cry and cry. And then then suddenly the pastime start again from baby Krishna. So this goes on and on. And
you can go and participate.
Yeah. So whichever time you go back to the spiritual world, you will be part of the Leela. Yeah. And you'll like, yeah, that's right.
This is what we read in Prabhupada's book.
We discussed about sweets.
So devotees see him as Krishna because they're covered by Yoga Maya.
The devotees see him as Krishna.
As God.
No, not as God.
Because they're covered by Yoga Maya.
Yes.
So all pastimes happen because devotees are covered by Yoga Maya.
Yes.
So actually, I read somewhere in Krishna book when gopis are talking to Uddhava, they say that you are supreme personality of Godhead and you can do whatever you like. So
They
I was
say
not
that.
sure what that
They
means.
say that, but then they are overwhelmed by the love for him, and they see him as one of their boyfriend, like that.
So they realize that he's Supreme Personality of God. They know, but it's covered up.
It's like that. They know, but it's covered up. Yeah. So, for all intent and purposes, they see him as their boyfriend or son or good friend, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly like that. And then when they are in separation, then they say, "Yeah, you're the Supreme Lord. You can do whatever you want," like that. And when he comes back, Sambhoga, when Sambhoga at that time everything is thrown out the door. So they see him as their lover and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all very much clearly explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah, if you if you read that, it's quite deep, Yeah, but all the different moods of Radharani, everything is explained. Everything is there actually. We don't need anything else. Text 28. Ajasya chakram tu ajaye yamanam.
Ajasya chakram tu ajayeyamanam.
Manomayam panchadasharamashu.
Manomayam panchadasharamashu.
Trinavi vidyuchalamastanemi.
Vidyuchalamasthanemi.
Yarakshamahustamritam prapadye.
Yadakshamahustamritam prapadye.
In the cycle of material activities, the material body resembles the wheel of a mental chariot. The 10 senses, 5 for working and 5 for gathering knowledge, and the 5 life airs within the body form the 15 spokes of the chariot's wheel. Now, we read in the previous canto, last chapter,
10 spokes.
10 spokes. Good, you remember. So you can see the analogy may be the same, but according to how they want to explain, they can say 10 or 15, depending on what they want to indicate. Here they are talking about the 5 working senses, 5 gathering senses, and 5 life airs. The 3 modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, are its center of activities, and the 8 direct ingredients of nature, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego, comprise the rim of the wheel. That means the external portion. The external material energy moves this wheel like electrical energy. Thus, the wheel revolves very quickly around its hub or central support, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul and the ultimate truth. We offer our respectful obeisances unto him. So he described the whole thing as a wheel going around Krishna in the middle. Amazing, huh? The way he's described that. Who would have thought of this kind of description? Right? Brahma is very intelligent. So then Prabhupada says the cycle of repeated birth and death is figuratively described herein also. The Prabhupada sees something more. The entire world is going around on because the living entity who's part and parcel of the Supreme Lord is utilizing the wheels going round, right? So that's what he's saying. The material energy, under the clutches of the material energy. The Jivatma is revolving on the wheel of birth and death. Right? And the external portion is going round, the material energy is on this, the boundaries and of the wheel, like that. So basically, again, yantra rudani maya. Yeah, we are machines, and the Lord is directing our wanderings. He's allowing us to wander like that. The material body of the living entity is a result of the conditioned soul's activities, and because the supporter is the super soul is the true reality. Every one of us, therefore, should offer respectful obeisances to this central reality. One should not be misguided by the activities of this material world and forget the central point, absolute truth. That is the instruction given here by Lord Brahma. Oftentimes we this is repetition so many times, right? But it's good, no? Because we don't really accept Krishna completely. And that's why we need to keep hearing that Krishna is the absolute truth. He is the central focus. Until until we actually act on that. Yeah. Then once you act on that, all these things will be like music to our ears. Text 29. Ya ekavarna tamasa paramta
Ya ekavarnam tamasa paramta
alokam avyaktam anantaparam
alokam avyaktam anantaparam
asam chakaro pasuparnaminam
asam chakaro pasuparnaminam
upasate yogaratena dhiraha
upasate yogaratena dhiraha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, and therefore he is Eka Varna, the Omkara Pranava. Because the Lord is beyond the cosmic manifestation, which is considered to be darkness, he is not visible to material eyes. Nonetheless, he is not separated from us by time or space, but is present everywhere. Seated on his carrier, Garuda, he is worshipped by means of mystical, yogic power by those who have achieved freedom from agitation. Let us all offer our respectful obeisances unto him. It just occurred to me that every time Brahma sleeps and when he gets up, he forgets. Okay?
He forgets everything.
He forgets many things. And then he prays to Supreme Lord for a knowledge to start the creation again and again. Yeah.
So is it Brahm Samhita every day?
Brahma Samhita every day? Yeah, possible.
So when he starts
Yeah. Mangalarti.
But Prabhu, we're doing the partial devastation, that some of the creation is still there, some of the
Some of
entities
them.
are still
No,
there,
but
and then
the-
he will forget about them.
Partial creation? No, when it's like that, he remembers some things, but
But
not
every day, right?
Yeah,
So
every day
it's
is
the
just,
whole thing.
yeah. He recreates the whole thing.
So here Ekavarna.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? I mean, they say that because he's situated in pure goodness, therefore he's Ekavarna.
Absolute. Ekavarna means he's just only in Sattva Guna.
Okay.
Yeah?
The Ekavarna is just the Omkar, right?
Yeah, but that means he's in that.
The one syllable. Is it? One.
No, Prabhupada also writes Omkarna, but in the word for word he says absolute situated in pure goodness.
For Omkar. For
Yeah.
the Ekavarna.
Yeah. So Omkara is not different from him also. No? The sound vibration. Okay. Okay, what I wanted to say is the Supreme Personality of God is beyond darkness and passion. He's not in the mode of ignorance or he's not in the mode of passion. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. He's beyond all these things. He's on the platform where goodness or knowledge is not disturbed by passion and ignorance. This is called the Vasudeva platform. It is on this platform of Vasudeva that Vasudeva, Krishna, can appear. Thus, Krishna appeared on this planet as the son of Vasudeva because the Lord is situated beyond the three modes of material nature. He is unseen by those who are dominated by these three modes. One must therefore become Dhira or undisturbed by the modes of material nature. So, this is another point Prabhupada is saying, that if you're always contaminated by the three modes, it's not possible for us to see the Supreme. Not possible. We have to be in the mode of goodness or Sattva Guna. Like that. The process of yoga may be practiced by one who is free from the agitation of these modes. Therefore, yoga is defined in this way: Yoga Indriya Samyamaha. As previously explained, we are disturbed by the indriyas or senses. Moreover, we are agitated by the three modes of material nature, which are imposed upon us by the external energy. So, simply being in this material energy, our senses will be disturbed. Just like that, you will be disturbed. Plus your previous desires, karma, and everything combined together, we are in a very difficult situation. So therefore, it is very important that when we practice, that we pray also that I do not want any of these things anymore. You know? Like you pray for good health, so that I can do service, do devotional service. Don't give me wealth, give me good health. Yeah, that is how we should also move on with our life. I have enough wealth, right? Just give me good health so I can preach, I can do service. In conditional life, the living entity moves turbulently in the whirlpool of birth and death. But when one is situated in the transcendental platform of Vishuddha Sattva, pure goodness, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead who sits on the back of Garuda. Brahma offers his respectful obeisances onto that Supreme Lord. Text 30. Nayasya kaschatiti tartimayam
Nayasya kasyaditi tartimayam
Yaya jano muyati vedanartam
Jaya jano muyati vedanatam
Tam nirjitatmatma gunam paresham
Tam nirjitatma gunam parisham
Namama bhuteshu samam charantam
Namama bhuteshu samam charantam.
No one can overcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusory energy Maya, which is so strong that it bewilders everyone, making one lose the sense to understand the aim of life. That same Maya, however, is subdued by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who rules everyone and who is equally disposed toward all living entities. Right? Maya can bewilder everybody. There's no one in this world who is not bewildered by Maya except pure devotees. Everyone else is bewildered. Everyone is bewildered every moment. Every second we are bewildered. Okay, no one can say, I'm not bewildered. Prabhupada always says, right? Not that you are bewildered now, he says you're always bewildered. Only occasionally you are in Krishna consciousness. Like that. So that's a very good, point that Prabhupada says. But at the same time, she is always under the control of the Lord. So, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti. She is under my superintendence. Because of that, if you take shelter of the Lord, then she will not bother us. She should not bother us unless the Lord wants to test us. Okay? So that is what we need to understand in this purport. Otherwise, we are covered and we do not understand the Supreme Lord's position. Text 31. Ime vayam ya priyayaiva tanva
Ime vayam ya priyayaiva tanva
Satvena shrishta vairantaravihi
Satvena shrishta bahirantaravihi
Gatimna sukshma rishayascha vidmahe
Gatimna sukshman vishayasya vidmahe
Kuto suradya itara pradhanah
Kuto suradhya itara pradhanah.
Since our bodies are made of Sattva Guna, we, the demigods, are internally and externally situated in goodness. All the great saints are also situated in that way. Therefore, if even we cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is to be said of those who are most insignificant in their bodily constitutions, being situated in the modes of passion and ignorance? How can they understand the Lord? Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto Him. It's like they're talking about us, Right? We are very fallen, So Brahma is feeling sorry for us, because they themselves have difficulty trying to analyze or discuss with the Lord what to speak of us, right? What is the very first verse that in the Bhagavatam, in the Janmaish
यतः अन्वयाद्यतश्चास्मे स्वविज्ञास्वरा तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवयमभ्यन्ति यत्सूरया तेजोवारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो
Before that, Suraya, yeah. What is that? Muhyanti yat Suraya.
When the demigods of
So even the demigods and great sages are
put into
put
illusion.
into illusion, yeah, by this personality. So here you can understand the same thing. He's saying we great saints and us, we are all in goodness. Still we cannot understand.
Krishna says in 10th chapter.
Krishna says in 10th,
Namevati Suragana.
yeah, Suragana. Yeah. You cannot understand unless he allows you to understand him. Right? So based on this, we become dependent on Krishna for whatever we can do. Otherwise, we are not independent. That's what the whole idea is. Yeah? So Prabhupada says in the purport, atheists think that they are independent and therefore they do not care about the supremacy of the Lord. That the Lord asserts his supremacy when he overcomes them as death. So he comes as death. They cannot fight that. They cannot ignore that. They cannot say, I am independent. Right? Death comes, they have to surrender. So that's how they see God. For them, for atheists and all, God comes in the form of death. So Prabhupada continues, at the time of death, their attempts to use their so-called scientific knowledge and philosophical speculation to deny the supremacy of the Lord cannot work. They have to die. So they are talking, scientists are talking, they say they can make the cells, because each cell according to them have a finite lifespan. So they think that by tweaking the lifespan can increase. They are very convinced, And recently also they say they found something that can make you remain young and so on. But cellularly you may look young, but you still can die, You cannot do much, right? They got all these kind of creams now. You put only your skin, all the lines will disappear. But it doesn't mean you are young, So how often you have to use the cream? Right? Not the one time you use, right? It's just like when your body is breaking down, the whole idea is you have to keep popping pills. You cannot say I don't want to take any more pills and I'll be okay. No, you got no choice. So this is how the scientists think. We can fix it. We can fix it. Soon they will come up with ideas so you can take out your skin and then put new skin and all that. Like that. Don't be surprised, So we know about Hiranyakashipu. Prabhupada says how he himself couldn't save himself. Right? He couldn't. Krishna came as Narsinga and just killed him. So what was his power, influence, pride, everything? Useless. So whatever we have, we should be thankful what we have. Don't try to hope for more things, more power, stuff like that. Because ultimately at the time of death, everything will be taken away. As long as we are in the modes of passion and ignorance, it's not possible to accept the position of God. We cannot accept that He is superior to us when we are in the mode and passion of ignorance and passion. Because He's ignorant, So He will always argue, why this? I don't accept this, I'll show you that we can develop something that we can make us live forever, immortal. Like that. But why would you want to live immortally for?
Enjoy.
How can you enjoy if the resources are limited? Right or not? Right? If everyone is going to be immortal, then the resources will be only limited, no? 99 years. But other things, enjoying food and so on. So therefore they will say you can't have children anymore. Right? Because limited resources. So they cannot answer many questions like that. They're not possible for them to answer. So Prabhupada writes, atheistic men, however, never understand how everything they create is annihilated. Actually, they want it to be annihilated. They create things, right? They put in pre-programmed redundancy, right? If you buy a car, the car nowadays only lasts for how many years?
100,000 to 170.
There's a certain number of miles, then it's everything gone. Even though it may look good, they test it's good, everything, but when you drive, it's like something is wrong. You will keep saying it. There's no speed. It doesn't do the thing properly because there's inbuilt redundancy.
Lifetime.
Huh?
Even lifetime.
Yeah, it's just like the phones and so on, right? Recently, they found that Apple had built the software to reduce the not only battery, everything system slow down. Yeah. So that you will buy a new phone. So therefore, they will not even want to want anything to be permanent. They want everything to be destroyed. Yeah. So you cannot understand. They can never understand God because of the predominance of passion and ignorance. Yeah. Text 32. Pado mahiyam swa kritaiva yasya
Padamahim swakritvaiva yasya
Chatuvido yatra hi bhuta sargaha
Chaturvido yatra hi bhuta sargaha
Savai Mahapurusha Atmatantraha
Savai Mahapurusha Atmatantraha
Prasidatam Brahma Mahavibhuti
Prasidatam Brahma Mahavibhutihi.
On this earth there are 4 kinds of living entities who are all created by him. The material creation rests on his lotus feet. He is the great supreme person full of opulence and power. May he be pleased with us. Okay, Prabhupada explains the word Mahi refers to the 5 material elements: earth, water, air, fire, and sky, which rest upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murare. The Mahat Tattva, the total material energy, rests on his lotus feet, for the cosmic manifestation is but another opulence of the Lord. In this cosmic manifestation, there are 4 kinds of living entities. Jarayu Ja, those born from embryos. Andaja, those born from eggs. Sweda those born from perspiration. And Udbija, those born from seeds. Okay, so which are we? Embryos. Everything is generated from the Lord as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. Janmadhyasya yataha. No one is independent. He is Swarat though. But the Supreme Soul is completely independent. Janmadhyasya yatavanvayat itarat. Charteshu abhikyaha swarat. The word swarat means independent. We are dependent. We are what? Dependent. We are not independent. We are always dependent. We depend on so many things, right? Even if you have money, even if you're a billionaire, you are still dependent on food, on the air, so many things you are dependent. So we can understand we cannot be independent at all. But the Lord is Swarat. He is independent. Okay. So we cannot even control ourselves. Right? You may try so hard after eating a nice prasadam, but you will still fall asleep. So you are not independent. Right? So all right, so with that we will stop for the day. Because I am not independent. Stop you all.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavatam Grantaraj ki jai.
So text 33 we will continue. But remember the 4 kinds of living entities. Jara, Yuja, Andaja, Sweda